Hi, welcome to Qigong Live Online today. Today we'll do some warm-up exercise today, and we're going to do some more advanced stuff about rotations today. We're going to go back to rotations, and we're going to talk about the significance of how we rotate inside our body. And we've done this class before. We're going to do it again because I think we can always just keep adding more and more pieces to understanding the true principles of what happens inside our body when we relax and how the body moves. And it's a very, very fascinating thing to watch and to experience what that feels like. But first we're going to do some warm-ups anyway. So I'm just going to go back. I'm doing the sinew relaxing exercises today, and all I'm doing is, for the whole exercise, you move a different part of your body. So I'm moving my elbows backwards and forwards. I'm just letting the hands flop, so I'm not actually moving my hands. I'm using my elbow. So the hands completely relaxed, the whole wrist is relaxed. And so what we do is we move a part of our body to move a different part, and the other part we're moving, we have it completely relaxed. So there's no tension in my wrist at all. And I'm going to go sideways, and I'm doing this with my elbows. I'll move my elbows in and out, and then I'm going to do floor. Now I'm not going to do a full set of this because it takes a long time to go through all the sinew stretching. Now, to do our elbows, you use your shoulders, yeah? And you use your shoulders forward and backward. And just let the elbows relax. Now you've got the elbows and the wrists relaxing. Yep. And just do this side. I'll move my shoulders up to do that. Good. Shoulders, let the elbows relax. Another way. It's a beautiful, hot, steamy day. It poured with rain last night, but it's hot today. The Bali heat again. And now because it rained last night, the ground's wet, so the humidity out is stonking. It's really hot. Good. Move our shoulders. Now to move our shoulders, we move our hips. Our hips moving backwards and forwards, and our shoulders just hanging. There you go. Perfect. And then make circles with your hips. Move your arm. Other side. And then circles. Good. And go side and side. Now I'm moving my hips side and side. My arms are just hanging. Yep. So now I'm relaxing my shoulders and your elbows and your wrists all at the same time. And what I'm doing is moving my hips from side to side. Yep. Very good. Then I move my hips forward and backwards. Just let the arms flop. Just move my hips. Very good. Good. Now we'll do our neck. Now with your neck, all you have to do is have one side, pull it up, and just let it flop the other side. Now this is not necessarily easy to do. It's just let your neck go, because you'll could be a bit nervous about hurting your neck. Well, you won't, but I understand it's not an easy thing to let go of. Good. Go forward and backwards. And then do big circles with your hips and heavy head going forward and backwards. Just let your head hang. Let it hang forward, hang backwards. Hang forward, hang backwards. Could go the other way. Good. Now spine. We're going to turn our hips again, but let's let our arms hang, and we're thinking of them to two muscles that run at either side of your spine all the way down to your tailbone, and we're relaxing those muscles. Yeah. And how you do that is just by tuning. And in your mind, you think of the muscles, and you think of the vertebra in your back, and think of just relax. Now, initially when you do this, you might not necessarily feel any movement in your spine. You won't feel any movement in your vertebra. But as you keep relaxing, then you can feel the spine actually rotating. Good. Now we're going to do it slightly different, and you're going to lock your hips so your hips don't move at all, and you're going to move your shoulders, and you move your shoulders from side to side, and just keep your hips locked, and this is still moving your spine. And you'll feel the spine going from side to side. Good. Still have your hips relaxed, just have them so they don't move. When you're relaxing your hips, don't have them stiff. You're not locking your hips. You're holding the hips there, but they're still relaxed, so you don't hold with tension and all your legs straight like that, and then turn the top up. Just relax your hips, but just don't move your hips, and just move the top part with your shoulders. So you still want to keep your hips relaxed, yeah? Very good. Now we're going to move our hips. Now, to move our hips, you move your knees. So move our knees side to side, and let's let the hips relax. So we're generating energy by the hips, by the knees moving here. Of course, the ankle is going to move as well. So the ankle is going to move, but that's the mind. My intention's in my knees. Move my knees from side to side. Good. Then move my knees forward and backwards. Relax your hips. And do circles with your knees. And circles the other way. Good. Now we do the exact opposite now. We're going to move our hips to move our knees. So we're moving our hips from side to side and relax the knees and the ankles. So you just change your intention, where your focus is. Good. Perfect. That's it. And forward and backwards with the hips. Very good. Circles with the hips. Let them relax. Now the arms are relaxed. Everything's relaxed except for the hips are moving. And everything else, the knees, ankles, shoulders, elbows, wrists, and your head, you're holding your head. So. Good, go the other way. Very cool. Now we're going to shake our feet. You shake your foot by moving your knee. Your knee and your hip, you're waggling like the hand. And you just want to feel the foot flopping. Yeah. Good. And then do circles with your knee. Backwards back. Good. Other side. If you have trouble, of course, you put your hand on the chair if you like. But this also helps with your balance as well. Do the knee the other way. Good. There you are. Now just shake your legs out, shake your hips out, shake your shoulders out, and everything should be nice and relaxed. Eh? There you go. Very cool. Now we'll bow now, eh? So for the people watching this, we do a bow. We do a formal bow for this class, and you can go into the introduction classes. It's not actually up there yet. I should say that, but it won't be there yet. I'm going to do a bow in the introduction classes into the beginners classes, so I'll show you how to do the bow on that one. Roll back onto your thumbs. Left hand underneath, right hand on top, two thumbs together. Gong. Make a fist with your left hand, cover with your right. Bring it towards your heart. And then down to your physical center. Cool. And then step apart. So the bell is about our connection with ourselves and the thing that's outside of ourselves, the nature outside of ourselves, the planet outside. So we're connecting to that energetics that's outside that we live inside of. Yeah. There's lots of pieces to it, but that's a nice broad understanding of it anyway. So we're going to talking about is rotations. So we did the rotations when we're doing the warm-ups. And we like this idea of turning from side to side, yeah? So normally if we just turn from side to side now while we're doing this so we can warm it up. Just had a quick drink of water. It's hot. So we talk about the rotations going from side to side. And this rotation process happens by us, generally we'll move our hips to do this. Now some people, if you've never done this before, will actually do the rotation from your shoulders. You'll move your shoulders backwards and forwards, and that's what creates the rotation. Yep. Of course in Qigong and Tai Chi you don't do that, you rotate from the hips. You're actually rotating from the Dantian, we'll talk about that in a second. So the idea of rotating from the hips. So the first part, so right now it's not raining, but there's a squirrel running across the tree on top of me, and he's shaking the branches because he thinks it's funny. Anyway, moving back to me and the squirrel competition. And so we're sitting this idea of the rotation, we're going backwards and forwards. Now normally if you're doing it from the hips, but we're going to add another piece to that is that when you move from side to side, it's a retreat. So one hip pulls back and the other one pulls back. So you're not actually pushing a hip forward and pushing the other hip forward. It's the exact opposite. You retreat and you retreat. So the idea of pulling the hip back, pulling the hip back. So that's the first thing we're going to think of while we're doing this. Yep. Rotation, rotation, rotation. Good. That piece. Very good. So now we're going to think of the center column that goes down through Huiyin, right through the top of your head, through Barkway, out through Huiyin into the ground. It's like a center energetic column. You sit on it and you can spin on it. And so the column doesn't move, but we slide around. It's like energetic. So what it does is keep you from bending over to the sides or leaning out because it's actually straight, and it keeps the posture straight. It also helps tuck your pelvis forward to sit on it, because if you have your pelvis, the bar's going down, you've got your pelvis sticking out, it'll pull it out to the side, so you tuck your pelvis back in and it's straight. Yep. And so we have that idea of the straight thing, turning from that one, right? Now we have the retreating going on. We have the center column spinning from side to side. Good. So that idea, and that's how we turn from side to side energetically, that way. Well, physically at the moment, but energetically, we're going to do it energetically as well. Good. So when we stand in posture, we've talked about this before, when you stand in posture, you have a certain rigidity in your ligaments and tendons in your legs and your hips to hold you up, otherwise you just fall in a little puddle on the ground. So you have all of this certain form of rigidity to hold form, so hold your body in form. Now, what we're trying, of course, is get as relaxed as possible in that posture, so the whole body's relaxed and you're not standing stiff to hold it. It's actually relaxed, but you're still holding just enough to hold you in posture so there's no tension in the body. And that's the trick, of course, is how to get less and less tension in the body and still be able to stay upright without falling over. We'll talk a little bit about that. But right now, with this idea of this relaxation, and we're turning from the relaxation. Yep. When we're standing in posture, if we just stop, you automatically will face the front. If I turn to the side, if I just use my hips and I turn to the side, if I stop myself there, if I stop at the side here facing this way, you can feel in your hips and down your back of your legs and your glutes and inside your knees as well, you'll feel that you've wound your ligaments up. You've twisted them up and you're holding them there. And as soon as you relax them, it's going to want to come back to the front by itself. Yep, so I'll do that to the other side. We've done a lot of classes about this, but just to understand this principle. So come to the side. Now you can feel, now you'll be able to feel different tensions on one side, could be different to the other ones, depending on what ligaments stretch you have and what suppleness you have, but you'll still feel them pulling. You might have to go further around to get them to pull more. And you'll feel this, and it could be in the ankles, could be in the knees, could be in your hips, could be in your back, lower back. All of these places you'll feel pieces of tension. And you get to here, and as soon as I relax, the body wants to come back to the neutral place, which is facing towards the front again. I don't like calling it neutral, and normal stance. Go to the side, hold that posture, and just relax, and it'll come back by itself. So just practice that so that you know what that feels like. Come to the side, relax, and come back to the center. And so inside exercises, we use this idea. Just keep doing that. Go from the side. Feel where the tension is in your body first. Feel where the tension is, what knee it is, what part of your knee, what part of your ankle, and then relax. Good. Go to the other side. Go right around. Hold the posture and relax, and then it comes back again. Good. So this is normal, what we normally do. So we've got a piece of energetic happening in our body that we're not having to do. We don't have to come back. It comes back by itself. Just think of that. So it's like when we breathe out, we relax, and the breath comes back by itself. So you only breathe one way, which is which is getting rid of the carbon dioxide on the way out, and that's the relax. And you just push it down, and then relax. Just inflates by itself like a sponge. You squash the sponge, relax the sponge, and it just inflates by itself. So we're only doing one piece of the breathing. The same thing with this. We're only doing one part of it. We're loading it up, and then we'll relax, and it comes back by itself. We don't have to do the coming back, but it's already doing it. So we're going to utilize that energy in the body in the exercises, so we don't have to do that piece. It's doing, all we do is ride that wave back. When you go to the side, we stop here, and as it comes, we ride the speed of it. Otherwise, it'll come back quite quick. Yeah, we're going to ride it slowly back, and we're just going to ride the energy back with it. But we're going to use the energy, not ourselves, to do that. Very clever. So there's a few exercises that do rotations. Well, there's lots of exercises that do rotations, lots of Qigong exercises that do them. We'll pick on a couple of main ones, and we'll do with that. So when we're rotating, we're going from side to side. We have this idea of relax, 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 relax. And see what's happening is relax. You get this flow when I relax here, not only comes back to the center, but there's a bit of an overflow that goes past. As it comes back, I'll show you with my hand so you can see that. If I relax here, it goes back, but it goes past the center, and then it goes this wobbly thing back before it stops again. Yeah, so go around the other way, relax, comes round, and there's a little bit of a wobble, it does it, yeah? So it's like the pendulum of a clock, when a pendulum of a clock's going from one side to the other. It goes all the way up, and the gravity pulls it down, and as it goes across the bottom, it always goes past the bottom and comes up the other side, but it never goes quite as high on the other side. Each time as the pendulum goes, it's going to slowly get less and less and less until it actually stops. Yeah, it'll slowly just get to a place where it'll stop. I'll use my arm for example. Yeah. So how the pendulum clock works is the spring in the clock that drives the clock. If you've got a spring clock, of course they're all different these days, but the pendulum these days, the old pendulum, it would come up, and all you'd have to use would be a bit to come to here instead of there. You just have to use a little bit of energy to get that to go to there, and now you've got full swing again. It'll go down the other side, it'll come all the way up, but it won't quite go to the top. You use a little bit of energy to bring it to the full, and so you're just using a little bit of energy there and there. The rest of it is just momentum from the pendulum. So you only have to use a small amount of power each end to make the swing right to its full capacity, or the full distance of its swing. And so we're doing the same thing as we come round. As we let go, it gets to then, it goes about 3/4. It goes round to facing us, and then goes round to about 3/4. And all we have to do is use the energy to get from here to there. That's all we're doing, just going from there to there. We come back around, and we're just doing from there to there to get it to move. Yeah, I think you understand that principle. So we're using very little energy, and what we're going to do is we're not even going to use muscles to do that piece. We're going to use energy to do that piece. So we're not even going to engage our muscles at all. So we're going to completely relax. Come from here, relax. Yeah, and we use energy to do that. Now the energy goes into the rotation, goes into your hip. Yep. So the idea of your hip turning, remember our physical centers underneath our tummy, our lower Dantian, we're going to use energy from the physical center into your hip to do that last piece that takes it right round. Then you're going to let that go, it comes around, and you're going to use a little bit of energy to Dantian to pull this hip back the other way. And then a little bit to do that one. So it's very, very, very energy conserving energy, something like that. Conserving energy when we get around the side and we stop. And we only have to do that piece there and that piece there. Everything else is happening by itself. I don't do the rest of it. I just let go. Just relax, and does it for you. Just relax. So we're working out how to use this least amount of power in our body and the most efficient way of using energy. And we're only using a piece for that side, a piece for that side. So if I'm swinging my arms from side to side, my arms aren't doing anything. They're just hanging, and they're just swinging out because of the rotation. And all I'm doing in the rotation is a slight bit of energy this there, and a slight bit of energy on the, and from the quarter to the last quarter to the side, depending on how flexible you are. And I'm only having to do that little piece. Yep, good. So we can add pieces to this because there's lots going on in this exercise. Yep, very good. So we've talked about our hips. So now what I want to do is we're going to connect it to the ground. So we're going to go into Yongquan. Yongquan's kidney 1 at the bottom of your foot. And we're going to connect that one to the ground. Now we're standing, at this stage we're standing in a single horse stance. So we have a foot space apart and your feet are that place. Your feet are parallel to the front. You don't want to have your feet out that way, because when it does is it opens up your hips. We bring it back so it closes down so the femurs are hanging directly down. The femur bones, that's your bones in your thigh, are hanging directly down, and they're not turned around to the side. They're actually straight that way. So when we turn, you'll feel the knee come forward, and you'll feel the other knee go forward. And we'll do that once you turn. And the knee just goes forward, but also remember when we're standing on our kidney points, there's no weight in our heels. So our heels are not touching, the heels are touching the ground, but there's no weight in them. So we're standing and we bend our knees slightly. So we're standing on our muscles. We're standing on the front part of our feet, the ball of our foot, and all our toes, where all the meridians connect to the ground. And we're turning on the kidney point and all the toes that are connected to the ground. Well, there's like that, we're turning on this way. So we have that energetic connection. You can feel the 6 meridians in each of the legs going up, and the energy is going up and down through the different meridians. Yeah, it comes up from the yin meridians and down through the yang. And so we have this feeling of this happening inside the body as we're rotating. The energy now is coming up and down in the body as we're tuning. Yeah, it's going up and down and tuning. It's doing it by itself. You don't have to worry too much about how to do that. Our body's very clever. It already knows how to do that. And so it's doing that for you. The heels are on the ground, but there's no weight in them. And so you're almost like you're on kidney 1 point. You feel the tuning on the kidney 1 point. Now, there's going to be a little bit of movement in your toes because that's going to happen as you rotate. You're going to feel that, but there's not a lot of pressure. You don't feel pressure on one side of your foot and then pressure to the other. They're going to stay pretty much the same as you do the rotation, but you will feel the pressure on your toes. Yeah, on the kidney points, it feels like you're rotating on the kidney points. So you're sitting on the kidney points and I'm turning on them. Yep. That's one part. Now remember we had a center column before, and the center column was going down the middle and we're rotating on the center column. Yep. And our body's spiraling on the center column from the top there. It's just turning. Now we have 2 in the kidney points. We're rotating in the 2 kidney points as well. So there's like, if you want to use the term loosely, it's like having 2 nails through the top of your foot. Right through the kidney point on both sides and tack to the ground, and then you're turning on the 2 nails like that as your feet are turning. Yep. And you've got your center column as well, so we're rotating off all of those. So that's where your energy is coming from. So the energy has to come through the body from those points. You're going to feel that energetic vibration. So you can feel the center column, you can feel the 2 on the ground through the kidney points, and now we've got our hips moving from side to side. Good. So now the energy to come to your hips is coming from your feet. Yeah, so it's coming up through the kidney points, comes up to the kidney points, and it goes into it actually goes into your kidneys first, and then it goes back to your physical center. And your physical center is driving the rotation, but it's coming from the ground. It's coming up from the kidney points and it's driving the rotation. So it's not coming from our physical body at all. It's coming from external. The energy is coming from outside to drive our body. I'm not using my own energy. I use that for other things, to eat my breakfast or things. But I'm using external energy to drive this whole motion. I'm drawing it up, and it's turning, and it's making the hips turn. It's making me spiral around the center column. Yeah, and the body's the central column spirals. Yeah, very cool. So this is one particular way of doing it. I'm going to show you a few different methods of where it originates from. So we've done two different ways so far. So we're spiraling from the center column. Well, actually 3. We'll go back to the hips. We got the idea of retreat your hip. So this is one of the ways we move. Yeah, the idea of the rotation from that one to making our body turn from side to side. Now then we introduced the center column, and now you're not doing your hips. You're just doing the center column. You're spiraling around the center column, and the center column's moving, and it's moving you. It's like the top of it's moving backwards and forwards. I'll just turn that the right way. So someone's got a hand holding the top of your center column, they're moving it from side to side like that, and you're turning because of that. And the center column's moving you, which is very different to the hips. Yeah. So there's 2. So we've got the hips moving, the center column moving. Now I just gave you another one, which is the kidney 1 points, and you're spiraling on the kidney 1 points, and you're turning from the kidney 1 points, and the two little nails are turning from side to side like that in your foot. Now you're turning that way from the 2 kidney points. Crazy, isn't it? All of this is how you're moving, and none of these have got to do with your muscles or your ligaments or your tendons. It's all 3 of these to do with energy. Yeah? To how you do that. Rotation. So it feels quite different in your feet. So depending on which exercise you're doing, on how the application of the exercise, we'll do a couple of exercises to utilize this principle, to understand this rotation principle and this idea of relax and comes around by itself, relax comes around itself. So if you think of the center column, we've already done the hip one. When you bring it around, you hold it and then relax the hips and it comes back to the front. Now we use the center column ideas. You turn the center column around and then relax the center column and it spins back by itself. Yeah, you turn the center column around the other way, relax it and it comes back by itself. Turn it around the other way. And if you do this, and you'll feel it feels really different. It's a very different feeling than if you're doing it from your hips. Turn your center column around, relax, spins back to the front. Turn the center column around, relax, and comes back to the front. Good. Now you can't hard to do this with your feet, but the idea of your feet with the nails is now the nails in your feet. You rotate on the nails, and then relax the nails in your feet, and it comes back to the front again. Just twist the nails around, which twists your body around. Relax. They're just energy nails. They're not physical nails, so they can't hurt you because it's just going out through your kidney point. Twist it round, relax, and comes back to the front again. Relax, and come back to the front. Good. So that's 3. There's 3 different ways we're going to do the tuning. We're going to do some more too, but we'll stick for the first 3. We're going to do an exercise. We'll do, what's the easiest one to do? We're going to do turn behind and all illnesses dissipates come from the Baduanjin Qigong set. I've got to choose exercises that are appropriate to what we're doing today. And this exercise starts from the hands to the ground like that, and it turns. This hand goes above your head with the palm facing up, and you're looking towards the back. And the back hand, all the fingers are touching your thumb like that, and they point up your spine. I'll turn around so you can see that. So it looks like that. And I'm looking towards the back. These fingers are pointing up my spine, just not touching my body, it's out from the body. This hand's above my head string, and I'm looking towards the back. Then I'm going to rotate around, the hand's going to come right around, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to turn right around and face towards, up the back of the spine, hand above the head. Yeah, so that's what it looks like from behind. And comes around. So I'm going faster than we're going to go, I'm just going to show you what it looks like at the moment. Good. So as we rotate, I'll start with the palms to the ground. You're going to turn, and this bottom hand goes around, the top hand comes up to your head, turning towards the back. Now remember, the Ligaments point on your hand is above Barkway point on top of your head. It's intercepting your head string. And then coming around the back, then you bring the hands around. Now, I'll show you the exercise first, and then we'll go back to thinking about the hips. We haven't done this before. Come around. Now there's a few different ways of doing this exercise in Baduanjin. We're going to use this particular method, this particular modification. I'm going to come around and turns. Good. And then come back to the front. Just rest there for a second. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to do the 3 different moves, and you notice how different it feels depending on where our attention is of what's driving the exercise. We're going to do the hip first. We're just going to do the idea of the hips moving back, and remember we retreat the hip back. It's going to pull us around that way, and we're going to pull the other hip back that way. Yeah, and so we start from there, and I pull this hip back, pull my right hip back. Or if you're mirroring, you're going to be pulling your left hip back, pull your left hip back, and turn to the back. Good. And then pull the other hip back, which is the opposite side. Well, actually, you don't have to remember the first part. The first part's going to come by itself, and then you pull the other hip back, this hip back, and go the other way. Now, because we're turning right around, there's a lot of stretch going on in the ligaments and tendons. So when you let it go, it's just about going to come back by. If I let it go, it's going to come back by itself. It's going to look like that. But we're not going to do it slowly. We don't want to go fast. We want to just ride the wave back. And all we have to do is relax, and the turn happens by itself. And all we have to do is pull our hip back a little bit, just about here, to just do the last piece of it. Just like the pendulum idea. And relax. Comes around by, ride the wave back, ride it all the way around. And then use your hip to pull just the last bit back. Good, and then relax. And you feel the body floats around by itself. And then pull your hip back for the last part. And relax. And all of it happens, even the arms float by themselves, everything floats. Load up the last part, relax. Relax. It's good. It feels beautiful. Such a great feeling that the whole letting go process, what happens from there, let go. Everything floats around. I'm not enough to do any of that. It just goes. All I have to do is this last piece of it, just the piece there, just to get me further around so I'm rocked right up. Relax. Good. This is just the hips. Good. Then come back to the front. Now we're going to do it with the head, with your center column this time. So remember, the center column, it's going to feel like it's turning, and somebody's turning it around, and it pulls you right around the back, and then you let the center column go, and it comes all the way back by itself, and it's going to go right around. Then you've got to load up the last part of the center column. Yeah, so we'll do that together. So with your center column, and remember, it's like being twisted. Now the center column remembers into the ground. It goes out through Huyin, Ren 1, into the ground. And so we have this idea of, as we're twisting it, it turns all the way around. Face the back, and then just let it go, and it comes back by itself, and it goes all the way around, and just do the last bit. There you go. We'll try that. Just a very different sensation. Keeps your body nice and straight too, doesn't it? And relax. Just let your head sink. Notice it keeps your head up. Now you're looking straight ahead now. You're not looking down, because the center column keeps your head up. I just feel like you're spiraling around the center column. Now, the center column is very powerful. It's like a pipe. It's not a little thin thing. It's actually quite big. It's like this. We can actually have it bigger than that, but we have it about that big to start off with. Relax. Other side. Relax. Relax. Good, and stop in the center. Perfect. So it's different, a totally different feeling when you do your hips, right? When you come in your hips and let the hip relax, you feel like the hip comes back. When you do the center column, when the column moves, the whole body comes back at the same time. It comes back because it's right through the center of your body. And you feel the whole body coming back to the center, but it overrides the center, of course, because it unwinds itself. And you feel as it turns, it comes back. Very different feeling. Now, the weird one is the one we're going to do now, which is the 2 kidney points. We're going to rotate on the kidney points. Remember, it's like having 2 nails out through the bottom of your kidney points, and they're shiny nails. They're smooth, so your feet are just slight, and you feel like your rotation's coming from the nails. The nails are moving, not your feet. The nails are moving, and as they move, it brings you right around, and the nails bring you back the other side. So the nails are actually turning, and the nails are what's driving the exercise. Start from the bottom again, yeah, and then turn the nails and find yourself going backwards. Good. Now the same thing happens now is you're going to relax both kidney points and the nails spin around the other way. It's a very different expression, different feeling inside the body. Relax the nails. Relax the nails. Relax the nails. Very different feeling, eh? Relax. Relax. Good, and stop there. So if you notice the difference, the difference expression, the nails are a lot more, what to use the terminology, they're quicker. It's like, because they're smaller, so they rotate a lot quicker, where the big center column, she rotates a bit slower. But when your hip moves, if you go back to your hips and do that hips, and you're just using your hips, you feel like your hips, this big thing go, where the center column's smaller, but the ones in the nails are very small. They're very small. So we're going from the bigger one to the smaller one on purpose. So you can compare them. And so this idea of tuning. So now the tuning idea, when we turn, it has a whole different idea. So if I'm tuning, if I'm tuning doing anything I like, from even from washing the dishes, I'm turning from side to side. I'm either going from my center column, or I'm doing my kidney points, or I'm doing my hips. And so the whole body is generated from what's going on inside my body energetically, not physically. So I'm needing to lose the energy in my body to do functions, to do anything I do, and to use more energy and less muscle. Let the muscles relax so you can have more relaxation inside the muscles. The more relaxed the muscle is, the more energy, the more relaxed anything is, the more energy can flow through the body. The more tense it is, the less energy can get through. More relaxed, more energy. Of course, it doesn't mean that you don't have to train your muscles, because if you don't train your muscles too, then they're going to get really soft. So you have a lot of energy, but you have no muscle power. So you need muscle power too, because we were given muscles for a reason. So you need to exercise those as well as this. Remember, this is the energetic exercises. We're learning how to move our body energetically, not physically. This is energy moving us. The physical exercise you have to do a different way. You have to go for a walk or run or swim or do something, go to the gym, do something to actually strengthen your muscles, keep your muscles fit and well. Same with your heart muscle. But this is about the energy of the body. We're training the energy of the body, which is important. Yep, we're going to do a different exercise. We'll go to, which one do we go to? We'll go and do turn and gaze at the moon from Shibashi. Shibashi Tai Chi Qigong. And so that's the rotation's still similar, but the arms are a little bit different. So we start off with our hands facing towards the ground. And you have the idea of making a diamond. Don't touch the fingers, though, have your hands out slightly. And we're going to turn. We're going to go to we'll go to the right side first. I'll mirror you. Comes up and we turn. Now this turn, the same thing again. You're going to feel the twist in your knees, your ankles, knees, hips, spine, neck, shoulders, and head. And your neck, and then it comes back down to the bottom, and then it comes back up. Now I'm watching this, my head's watching as I'm turning behind, looking into the sky as I'm looking at the moon. I'm looking at the moon through the gap between my hands. Comes down to the center, and then turns up the other way. Now I haven't said how to do this exercise. You'll be doing this exercise whichever way you're thinking, or you're just using muscles to do this, but we're going to change that in a second. Good. So that's what the exercise looks like. So we're coming back to the center. So the first one we're going to do is with our hips again, so we get the idea of what it feels like to move our hips. Bring the hands up. And if we relax the hips, it's going to come down by itself, ride the wave down. And then it comes up the other side. Yeah. Relax. Hands come down. And then comes up the other side. There's a couple of things going on in this exercise and relax, comes down, comes to the other side. We're also using the energy of the hands, because what I'm doing is I'm lowering my hands. If I'm losing my hands, there's all this energy that happens from here, and relax my hands. They're just going to flop down because the gravity is going to pull the arms down. So I'm riding the energy wave of gravity. It's the same as I'm bringing your hands down. I'm actually using the gravitational pull as an energy. And it hits the bottom, then it swings up the other side. So I've got two things going on. Relax the hips. Yeah. And if I did this fast so you could see what I mean, if I relax the arms and the hips at the same time, it looks like that. Because it's just letting the arms flop and they're just going to flop back up by themselves, yeah? So I have that going on, but I'm going to ride that wave down, ride it up the other side. Turn, good. And then we come back to the center. Then we've got two things going on. I added an extra piece then. So now we're going to do the center column. Yeah, same thing to the right, use the center column. Turn, and now instantly you notice it keeps your head straight. Now you're going to put your head down because you want to watch your hands. Turn up. Actually, we won't look at the hands. We'll watch the hands at the back, but keep your hands and just keep your head string, the center column, and look straight forward as you go across, looking straight ahead. And that'll stop you moving out of the center column for this exercise. So your hands come down. So you feel the center column's moving you. Comes up to the side. Relax the center column. And it comes back by itself at the side. Relax the center column. Good. And up the other side. Relax. Relax. Now all of these take practice to learn what this feels like, and you're training your intention to think a certain way. Relax. Think of the center column, or thinking of your hips, or thinking of your kidney nail points. Good, just stop there in the center. So one of the exercises, some exercises you'll find easier than others, and you'll have your pet one you like doing. You'll either like doing the hip one. you like doing the center column, or you like doing the nails, or you like all three of them, doesn't really matter. None of them are wrong, right? You use them in different exercises. So depending on which exercise you do, which one you're actually going to use to get the exercise moving the chi around the body and meet it up and down on the meridians and things. So we'll do the last one, which is for the kidney points. The nails and the kidneys, we're going to turn. And as we turn, it comes to the side. Now notice straight away with this one. Now you can look down for this one. Bring your hands down because you're not using the center column. You can look down and just feel the nails turning. And the nails in your feet pull you up the other side. Relax. And ride the energy wave of the nails to the other side. Relax. Notice how it's a very, very different feeling exercise when you do this. You can't even feel your hips. You can't feel the center column. All you can feel is your feet. But your body's still moving. So from this one we get the out breath goes on as well. When you relax, out breath. And then in breath brings the arms up. Remember, still turning from your nails and your feet. Relax. Breathe out. Then breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Get back to the stop and stop in the center. There you go. Now shake your arms out if there's any tension built up in your body. It's hot. Sweating a bit. Very cool. Yeah, so there are. So there's three different ways you can move the rotation inside your body using different principles. And so, as I say, depending on the exercise, which one you use, and you can use all three of them in an exercise for different intentions, what you want, what meridians you want to use, what energy pathways you want to, depends on which ones you're using, depends on which method you're going to use, because they're all very different. But hopefully that gave you an experience of how you can feel how different it feels from moving your hips to moving your center column to moving your kidney nails. And so you can feel that all of them have a very, very different experience, a different effect in the body, and what it feels like as we're turning from these points. And we have the rotation points coming from those points. And remember, we're loading it up. We relax. It's all about the relax. 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 And as soon as you relax, the energy brings you back by itself. And so you don't have to do that piece. And it teaches you how to let go and teaches you how to relax, which is both the same in this particular version. It's the same sort of thing. It's to understand what it feels like, just to bring it round and just relax, let go. And teaches you how to do letting go. And that's letting go is not the easiest thing to do in the world. The easiest way to let go, physical first, then mentally, then spiritually. Don't try and let go spiritually first. It's probably very most difficult. The easiest thing is to learn how to let your arm go first. That's by far the easiest way. The other ones are pretty tricky, especially mentally letting go. So hopefully that's useful. If you have any questions, please message me. Yeah, and ask me about it if you have any questions about it. It's fun. Have a beautiful day today. Bye-bye. Roll back on your thumbs. Left hand underneath, right hand on top. Two thumbs together. Go. Make a fist with your left hand, cover it with your right. Bring your palms towards the energy, towards your heart. And then bring the surplus energy down to your lower dantian. Good. Then bring hands to the side and then step back. And then bow to everybody in the class that's come to the class today, and everybody's going to watch this video later. Hope you enjoyed the class. Hope you found it useful. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful day, Cheers.